The roar of engines filled the small, quiet town as a group of leather-clad bikers thundered down the main street. People turned their heads, some in fear, some in curiosity. Then, out of nowhere, a little girl, no older than 7, ran right into their path, her face streaked with tears, clutching a torn teddy bear. "Please! Help my mama! They're hurting her," she cried. The bikers skidded to a stop. Their leader, a towering man with a long beard and cold gray eyes, stared down at her. What he said next and what they did after would change not only that little girl's life, but the entire town forever. The day had begun like any other in the small, dusty town of Milford. Sarah, a single mother, was doing her best to keep her daughter, Lily, safe and fed. She worked 2 jobs, smiled through pain, and told Lily bedtime stories about angels and bravery because she didn't want her daughter to see the darkness that crept inside their little house at night. That darkness had a name: Tom, Sarah's ex-boyfriend. A man who once promised love but had become the source of every bruise she tried to hide. That evening, as the sun sank behind the trees, Tom showed up drunk again. His shouting shook the walls, and his rage echoed through the house. "Where's my money, Sarah? You think you can just walk away from me?" Lily, hiding behind the door, watched her mother fall to the ground. The sound of glass shattering made her heart race. She couldn't watch anymore. Barefoot and trembling, she ran out the door and down the road, not knowing where to go, only that she needed help. That's when she heard it, the rumble of motorcycles. A group of bikers had stopped near the old gas station. They looked rough: tattoos, leather jackets, bandanas, but in Lily's tear-filled eyes, they were her only hope. She ran toward them, crying, "Please! They're beating my mama!" The bikers froze. Their leader, Jack Bear Lawson, a man who'd seen too much of life's ugliness, dismounted his Harley. His rough voice softened. "Hey, kid, who's hurting your mama?" When she told him, Bear's jaw tightened. Without hesitation, he turned to his crew. "Mount up. We're going." Engines roared again, not in anger, but in purpose. When they reached Sarah's home, the sight stunned them. The door hung open, the lights flickered, and a man's voice barked curses from inside. Without a word, Bear stepped off his bike and stormed in. Tom turned, sneering. "Who the hell are you?" "Someone who doesn't like men who hurt women," Bear growled. Before Tom could react, Bear grabbed him by the collar and dragged him outside. "You ever touch her again, I swear, you won't walk away." Tom stumbled off into the night, terrified. Sarah collapsed, sobbing. Lily ran into her arms. "Mama! They saved you!" Bear knelt beside them, his rough hand trembling. "You're safe now, sweetheart." But as the bikers left, something in Bear's eyes changed. The little girl's fear reminded him of his own daughter, one he hadn't seen in years because of his own mistakes. That night, Bear made a silent promise: he wouldn't just ride away this time. The next morning, Bear returned to Sarah's house not as a biker, but as a man seeking redemption. He brought groceries, fixed the broken door, and made a few calls. The bikers stayed around, helping with repairs, cleaning up the mess, and even bringing toys for Lily. At first, Sarah was afraid. She had heard stories about men like them: rebels, outlaws, troublemakers. But the truth was written in their actions, not their looks. They didn't ask for anything. They just helped. Bear found out Sarah had been trying to escape Tom for months but had nowhere to go. So he reached out to a women's shelter in a nearby city. With his gang's help, they moved Sarah and Lily there safely. When the day came to say goodbye, Lily hugged Bear tightly. "Will we ever see you again?" Bear smiled, hiding the lump in his throat. "You will, kid. Promise." Weeks later, Bear and his crew organized a fundraiser ride, Wheels for Hope, to support women and children escaping abuse. The event drew hundreds of bikers from across the state. The same town that once feared them now stood on the streets cheering as they roared past, symbols of protection, not fear. Sarah, now stronger, stood with Lily watching the bikers ride. She whispered, "Those men didn't just save us, they gave us a second chance." And somewhere in the crowd, Bear smiled from behind his helmet. He didn't save them because he was a hero. He did it because, once, no one had saved his family, and he refused to let history repeat itself.